Awesome. We will go ahead and get started with the regular meeting tonight for January. Roll call, please, Patty.
Commissioner Carmen, McCaffrey,
Here.
Whitehouse,
Here.
Cholet,
Here.
Moyer, Knack,
Here.
Sarter.
Here. Any additions or deletions from the agenda tonight?
None from staff.
Thank you, staff. Melissa?
Point of information, Mr. Chair. Do we need to call the time the meeting started? We did start a couple minutes late. Did we do that or did I miss that?
I typically don't anyway, but
Okay.
if you would like to, the
No,
regular meeting started at 6:33. Mr. Whitehouse? Nope. No, you can't. Public forum, anybody wish to speak on anything non-agenda related? Thank you, public. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December?
I move we approve the meetings minutes from December.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner McCaffrey,
Yes.
Whitehouse,
Yes.
Cholet,
Yes.
Knack,
Yes.
Sarter.
Yes. Okay, new business tonight. We'll move into election of officers for the 2024 Planning Commission session.
That's
Any
right.
speeches, campaigns?
I nominate Eric Sarter to be chairman again.
Second.
Did you want to say anything before we started or no? I guess we're-
We've recycled the same staff report for the last couple of years. I think you're all familiar with it. There's not much to the procedure, but there's been a nomination and a second
Yes.
for Chair. Commissioner Sarter, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Are there any other nominations for Chair?
I just want a campaign speech.
Clearly don't need it.
Campaign's over.
Why would I bother doing that?
If he speaks now, he might screw it up.
I speak enough here as it is. You all have heard me.
Okay, seeing
Yes.
no other nominations, Chair, the meeting is yours. You can ask for a roll call vote.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner McCaffrey,
Yes.
Whitehouse,
Yes.
Cholet,
Yes.
Knack,
Yep.
Sarter.
Yes. Should you abstain from voting from yourself?
It's not a requirement to abstain.
I vote for myself then. I would nominate Tim Whitehouse for vice chair.
I second.
You accept?
I accept. Feels more
right.
like a firing squad.
Motion and seconded.
Or
and Tim accepted.
nomination.
Nomination, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Okay,
And Are
roll
there any
call.
other nominations for Vice Chair?
Heck no. Nobody's
Okay.
said that.
you finally shook it, huh?
Oh, doesn't somebody want to run against him?
Campaign speech? Still holding out for one. No.
I nominate, oh, no, just kidding. Okay, if we're good, roll call, please.
Commissioner Whitehouse,
Yes.
McCaffrey,
Yes.
Cholet,
Yes.
Knack,
Yes, thank you.
Sarter.
Yes. Congratulations.
Oh, man, they're stuck in it together.
Sir. I love elections. They're the best.
If they were all this smooth.
I am, yeah, right?
I'm just saying.
Thank you for going through the election of officers process for 2024. Those seats are reappointed annually at the first meeting of the year. So Commissioner Sarter and Commissioner Whitehouse, you'll be the chair and vice chair for all of 2024. Commissioner Whitehouse is the vice chair. You would serve in the absence of the chair if Commissioner Sarter were unable to attend a meeting. So congratulations for the 2024 calendar year.
Good job, guys.
Yay, thanks.
Roar of the crowd.
Right. Okay, we'll move on to communications.
Very well. In your planning commission packet, we put together our quarterly report for building permit activity and residential lot inventory. On the commercial category, we didn't update anything for this quarter. Commercial just changes a little slower than residential does. So most of that information for commercial is the same as previous. Any questions on the quarterly report?
No.
We already voted.
Your chair.
So is the expectation that these residential lots will be ready for permit about when? The ones that are under public improvement right now? the
For Sage
Sage-
Meadows second.
Yes.
So the question was, when would lots be expected for permit for Sage Meadows second subdivision that's currently under construction? It's getting close. They're working through final acceptance on the public improvements side of things. And then they still have dry utilities for gas, phones, telecom, things like that, that typically go in. And then final things like street signs and street lights and things like that. But they're getting pretty close to where we'd be able to issue permits. Probably, certainly in this first quarter would be available, whether or not the market dictates that they'd be pulling permits,
Right.
but they should be permit ready in this first quarter.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
And the lot estimation is increased from what we were looking at before. I saw it was like 150.
Let me go back to the report. The Sage Meadows second subdivision, once infrastructure is accepted, there's 103 lots in that subdivision. So we'll update the table at the bottom, or the chart at the bottom of page 10 of 11 of your packet. We'd update that chart to show the additional lots ready for permits, but it would increase it by 103.
Okay. That was all my questions.
Okay. The other communication I had is, at your seats there, we gave you a one pager that has the 2024 adopted meeting dates for the planning commission, along with the, closing schedule for when applicants have to submit for initial plans and final plans. We publish that on our website and make it available, helps inform, applicants as they're putting together their submission materials and their schedule. So we provided that to you, so you have it available for your use as well.
Thank you.
The other announcement that I would make is for the February meeting, I don't have my calendar to see what the exact date is, first Monday of February. I think it's the 5th. Thank you. I anticipate a work session at 5:30 to go over the site plan review process and materials. And for the February meeting, we're expecting a site plan in front of the planning commission for hopefully final action. The applicant submitted the materials for that, for their review comments last week on Tuesday after the holiday. And the agenda packet was published on Thursday. So it didn't meet the timelines for this meeting, but we anticipate that it would be ready for recommendations for the February meeting. Yeah, I don't have any other announcements and,
Quick question. So, and we're just, looks like there were 66 permits pulled in totality of this last year, and wasn't even with the restrictions. Well, there weren't 100 lots, but there was sort of, the maximum would have been 100 single family residential, but it's clear from this information that there weren't enough permit ready plots or tracks at that point to actually even hit the 100, which would have been our theoretical maximum based on water treatment capacities, correct?
yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
And yes to your question, and to take it a little step further, the water treatment plant expansion project and the wastewater treatment plant expansion project are both currently under construction, underway and on schedule. We're anticipating those projects to be concluded and operational in fall of 2024, at which time the limitations on the number of building permits would be lifted. There would no longer be a capacity reason to restrict the number of new permits. But as you can see from the data, there has been a lack of available lots with infrastructure to issue permits coming to the table. And so we don't, aside from Sage Meadows second subdivision, we don't currently have any other development projects where lots would be ready for permits without design and construction of infrastructure. So there will be a little bit of a lull there for 2024, and our adopted budget for town's expenses reflects that reduction in the expected number of building permits.
And is there any expected anticipation of more infrastructure improvements starting on other subdivisions that have been approved for 2024 or no?
So on the page 10 of your agenda packet there, you can see the list of subdivisions that are within the town. Columbine Estates is also known as Mountain View Ranch is newly built out. There's one lot left over there. Sage Meadows Second has 103 lots that should be available for permits here in the first quarter. Saddleback subdivision is currently in review process for final approval by the Board of Trustees for the change to the plat.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's on the agenda for tomorrow, for Tuesday night, for the board consideration. Pending the results of that, the developer would have to make a decision on the timing of when to bring infrastructure forward. And just for reference, I think we maybe talked about in the last quarterly report, Sundance subdivision was annexed and zoned and platted 20 years ago into the town and has not proceeded with development since that time. What we added to the chart at the bottom is kind of that dashed line in the middle that shows the reasonably expected single-family lots. What we did is we just took the 317 lots that are platted in Sundance. We took that out of the totals to come up with that dashed line because we don't reasonably expect the developer of that property to bring forward a proposal in the near future. They just put irrigation on that property with a lease. I think it's a 5 or 10-year lease on the irrigation for that ag field. So we took that out of consideration for a short-term timeline. And then the Country Lane Acres and Sage Farm annexation annexation is still being considered by the Board of Trustees. And Country Lane Acres are indications from the owners that there's no current desire to bring those forward for development purposes. They just have 2 large lots for individual residency. So gives you a snapshot of what we have coming in the pipeline.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nothing else, anyone? Okay, good, adjourned.
Thank you.
Is-
I didn't get home before 7.